Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at some NVIDIA updates. One of my favorites that we're going to discuss today actually has to deal with rumors that NVIDIA's Blackwell chip might actually be made here in the United States, or some of the volume might be made here in the United States. And I think that's going to be very interesting for investors to know. We're also going to discuss some other semiconductor companies and some thoughts on the competition that might have just emerged from big tech. So let's take a closer look, but first make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose, and check out my earnings ebook. I just announced some more updates to it. Right now it's 50% off, no coupon code needed. The link is down below.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so we can see NVIDIA pretty much had a flat day today, but we are back to the 140s. It's sitting at $145. Now, before we start off with NVIDIA news, you guys know that we discuss so much more than NVIDIA. We like to learn everything about kind of the semiconductor market. And the first thing we're going to look at is Synopsys. For those that are not familiar with Synopsys, Synopsys is a software company that is used to design and verify and simulate chips in general. So companies like NVIDIA use Synopsys, or the engineers at NVIDIA use Synopsys to kind of design their Blackwell, their Rubin, and so on and so forth. So it's a very important company here in the semiconductor space, and there's two main players that deal with this, Synopsys and Cadence. Unfortunately, Synopsys reported earnings yesterday, and the stock is down roughly 12.3%. Now, the main reason stock dropped is because while the company did beat expectations, they did plummet on lower fiscal year 2025 revenue outlook. Its competitor Cadence was also down about 6%, most likely following suit here with Cadence. Now, normally I don't invest in these software plays because they tend to trade at a heavier price in the semiconductor market, but there's definitely a lot of growth opportunity here, and Synopsys trading in the forward 1-year PE ratio is roughly 29.8. So nothing too it's not undervalued in my opinion, but it's definitely sitting at better values than it has been before. Right now, the stock is actually down 3.8% on the year, and from its peak, the stock is down roughly 16% in the past 5 years, though we can see that Synopsys has done amazing. Now, the next company I want to take a closer look at is Intel, and Intel continues to get wrecked. In the past 5 days, the stock is down roughly 12%, and from its peak in the past 5 days, the stock is down 17% after we saw that announcement that the CEO is retiring. Now, there are a few rumors and speculations coming out right now. One of the main things is Intel's 18A, which is their most sought out process node, or what Intel believes was going to be like the game changer. Right now, there are reports that the yield is roughly 10%. This is based on a Korean publication Chosen, which tracks developments in the electronics and ICT industry. And many are speculating that this could be true and could be one of the reasons Pak just ended up leaving. If there was so much fire in this place at Intel, then he might have said, I give up. Honestly, I don't think that's necessarily the case, but those are just kind of the speculations happening. I'm gonna say there's probably some truth behind this smoke. At the end of the day, when there's some smoke, there might be a fire. The question is how big the fire is. But Intel right now has a lot of PR stunt to do, a lot of PR fixing to do, a lot of work culture to fix as well. So this is a company that, in my opinion, is going to be in a negative point of view for a very, very long time. Now, on a bullish case, though, we did see some new board of directors here for Intel. So Eric, which was the former president and CEO and chairman of ASML, is now a board of directors here in Intel. And the second one is Steve, who is currently the chairman and interim chief executive officer of Microchip Technology. So these are two big gun players here in the semiconductor industry, and pretty interesting to see them in the board of directors right now. Now, I think that's all I have for outside. Actually, I do have one more. So, OpenAI, if you remembered yesterday, we saw that OpenAI every day for the next 12 days is going to release something new. Well, today they actually released ChatGPT Pro, which is a 200 monthly plan that enables scaled access to their best OpenAI models with unlimited access. But overall, it does showcase that, hey, look, running these models is super expensive. And the great thing is NVIDIA is generating new chips. And with new chips, they're making them more efficiency. For example, in inference, Blackwell is about 30 times more energy efficient or faster than Hopper 100 in forms of energy efficiency is about 25 times better. So if NVIDIA continues to develop with this form of efficiency, it's going to continue to force all these kind of AI companies to go with NVIDIA, as by investing in NVIDIA or buying their chips, you're going to be able to save more money in the long term of things. Now, OpenAI also introduced a new model. They introduced O1 and O1 Pro mode, which continues to do even more thinking, which is again more inferencing power. So overall, we are continuing to see strong demand for AI computational space right now. Next, I found this one pretty interesting. So we've talked about Amazon in the past few days, especially with their partnerships with ASIC Solution. And Amazon, in my opinion, is one of the big techs that is really doing really good with their ASIC solutions. And right now, Amazon has two chips for AI. They have Inferentia, which is meant for inference, and then they have Trainium, which is used for training. And like we know, usually ASIC solutions are good for one thing and for one certain type of workload. Very similar, Inferentia and Trainium makes perfect sense. But Amazon seems to be able to now make a chip. They're saying they're going to stop their Inferentia and they're just going to focus on Trainium, and Trainium will actually be able to do both inferencing and training. So it seems like Amazon is developing their own GPUs little by little. Again, I wouldn't be worried about this as an NVIDIA investor, but in forms of big tech, it does seem like Amazon is moving pretty quickly here in the AI chip space and can definitely kind of help boost their overall AI infrastructure. So definitely kudos there to the Amazon AWS team. Now, we're going to move into more NVIDIA specific news. Specific. I'm pretty sure someone's going to correct me in the comments, and I'm pretty sure all those words that I just said were pretty much the same. Well, back to NVIDIA. On December 5th, NVIDIA announced that they are going to open a Vietnam Research and Development Center to bolster AI development. So NVIDIA announces that they're going to open up their first Vietnam research, signaling its confidence in the country's bright artificial intelligence future. Now, NVIDIA will use the R&D center to focus on software development, capitalizing on the country's strong talent pool of STEM engineers. And like we mentioned in I believe 2 episodes ago of NVIDIA, that NVIDIA is going to have a lot of cash. And one thing that they're really going to focus on is research and development to either enter new markets to improve their software solutions, or to just kind of generate to create even a new market in general. So I think we're going to continue to see research and development centers open up all over the world, as NVIDIA is going to try to use its cash in the mode where it wants to grow at faster levels. So definitely great move here. And it just continues to showcase what NVIDIA wants to do with its cash at the moment. Now, another kind of NVIDIA news is today iGenius, artificial intelligence company that is meant for regulated industries, like, for example, the financial market, the healthcare market, and similar markets like that. Right now, they did announce their Colosseum, which is going to be one of the world's largest NVIDIA DGX AI supercomputer with NVIDIA's Grace Blackwell super chips. So while they mentioned it's going to be a few thousand AI chips, I believe it's about 2,000 GB200s that they're going to purchase. So about 5,000, about 2,600 or somewhere around there, if I did my math correctly on how many chips they need to kind of reach 115 exaflop of computational performance. It's about, I believe, 2,500 and so GB200 chips. So nothing too crazy, but it just showcases how there's so many different types of AI companies big and small, they're developing artificial intelligence for different industries, and they're all investing in NVIDIA's solution. Now, the final news that I have here is probably going to be my favorite news. So, there are reports that NVIDIA is in talks with TSMC to produce Blackwell in Arizona, while packaging is handled in Taiwan. Remember, to produce a chip, there's two main processes. There's the front end, which is kind of the build of the wafer, and then there's the back end, which is advanced packaging and pretty much putting the chip together. So the front end will be made here in Arizona, where the back end will most likely be handled in Taiwan. But this actually opened up the possibility that maybe TSMC might even have the thought of building advanced packaging solution here in the United States. Now, if that's the case, then this opens up a lot more capacity for NVIDIA and could be one of the reasons that in the upcoming few years, remember, because it takes time for capacity to be built up, but it could be another potential catalyst and another potential tailwind for future generations, as TSMC will have even more capacity in the future. So also we do have the opportunity that maybe other players can develop advanced packaging very similar to NVIDIA, which can also help boost more of their supply chain in general. So this is pretty exciting news. Nothing that in my opinion would drive the stock right now, but it is something that if it goes in the right direction and it is true, in the next few quarters can show some results. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Like I mentioned, while we do NVIDIA episodes on the daily, it doesn't mean I expect the stock to rise up every day. Obviously, I'm a long-term investor, but in the short term of things, I believe this stock can go anywhere. And I personally believe this is a stock for the patient investor.